Hi, we're going to talk about. Don't do it. Don't do it. Harley wants some. We're going to be talking about. Alright, Harley, come on, go there. We're going to be talking about things today. And things that I want to talk about are the fact that Microsoft is ruining gaming and has ruined gaming since the Xbox 360. And a lot of you will have your own reasons, to counteract that, and that's fine. But here's my dilemma. Whenever a game company can make you hate console gaming so much to the point where you don't want a console game, I think that's a little much. And why do I bring this up? Well, everything from the Xbox One to the 360, but I was never a big Xbox guy, and maybe this video is going to make a lot of you people angry. And you know what? That's fine to be angry. But here's my problem. How can you make someone hate a console so much that you just don't want a console game anymore moving forward? Well, the reason that's even spoken is because tonight I had a conversation with someone who was looking to get a PC, and then I did a little investigation, and I was like, well, we'll get a PlayStation 4. And you're like, oh, you're such a pony boy. And I don't mind being pony boy, although if you haven't seen The Outsiders, I don't want to be him by the end. Then they were like, oh yeah, I want to play Sims 4, and I said, well, you can play Sims 4 on the PS4. I don't know about the Xbox One. And then after that, the conversation continued to a point where it's like, well, what other games do you wanna play? And then they're like, The Forest. So I go check, and The Forest is coming to PS4 later this year, or sometime this year. And I took a screenshot, I showed them. And, PlayStation 4 is a cheaper alternative than a PC, which could cost $1,000. Now, I don't mind. I have nothing against PC gamers. I have nothing against Nintendo gamers. Oddly enough, they have a problem with PlayStation gamers, which is the weirdest thing. I don't know. I just don't even know. Both consoles, are great. PC's great in its own right, but then you've got Xbox, which, hence, therefore, I did my video a while back describing why I decided not to get an Xbox One. But the conversation really struck me because now don't mind if the person doesn't get a PlayStation. I really couldn't care. It's their money at the end of the day. But my problem is that they had 360, and they said that they hated the console to a point where they just want a PC game. Like, obviously, Microsoft as a company, they make good computers. I'll give them that. But as the console, you could tell they just don't care. I've had a friend who had the 360. That machine glitched like no problem. I've known people who, and I know this is like last gen talk, but I've known people who had multiple 360s and they all broke down. And it's not a big secret that the Red Ring of Death was a thing. But to make a person hate console gaming to a point where they would rather just PC game, like not even a thought of a Nintendo Switch, not a thought of just banning all, consoles altogether, I feel very sad, that this person, that people would just, shut them off completely. To my cousin, who's also been banned from his own account, and he had to make another one, and to just anybody on the Xbox, I've not heard anything good. And then even going into the Xbox One, never. I can't justify myself going out and getting an Xbox One, even if it's backwards compatible. I don't think that's a feature that I care much about in the first place, whether it has it or not. If it has it, great. If the console has it, but to backpedal that much to the point where oh guys, it's kind of pointless. And, I can already predict the next Xbox generation will start off with exclusives, if there is going to be any, and then move on from there, and then there's Game Pass. And Game Pass for $10 seems like a steal of a deal right now. But what happens moving forward when, Microsoft just doesn't really care? There's these things that keep popping up about them. And for me, I've always gamed my entire life. Gaming, this is why I stuck with PlayStation. For the single player experience, for the story, for the non-online stuff. I couldn't care if the game has online or not. For me, it's just an added bonus if it does, but I just don't care. I love playing, Knack. It's such an underrated game, which I might do a video of about how underrated it is. I sat there and I couldn't, for a few minutes, and I said to myself, I've known so many people. Now, mind you, I know maybe one person who has had no problems with Xbox. One person out of the plethora of people, not since the original Xbox have I heard so many problems. I'm still on my first PS3, and I'm going on 9 years this year in December. I've had it for 8 years. It still works. I've had my PS4 since 2014. 4 years. And not once have I needed to go out and get another machine. Now, I am going to be, even the Vita, the VR, I had to exchange it because, it was a new thing, but peripherals and stuff like that, I don't, sometimes, yes, I will have to send them out and get a new one. Sony's really good with sending stuff. I've had a few people who picked up the phone who was kind of rude. I called them, and I might have gotten them fired because they were rude. But my problem is when someone, and I said this, it bothers me because to be pushed away to that point where you want to spend more money because you're so against consoles now bothers me. That being said, where does it end? If you just want a game on PC, fine. But for a 360 to make you hate, I can't see it. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. It blows my mind. It just blows my mind. There's just nothing that Xbox has done. Sunset Overdrive intrigued me to a point where it's like, I might get an Xbox. And there was actually a time frame that I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to get the Xbox. I'll suck it up, I'll get it, I'll spend the $500. But then they announced Game Pass. And for me, that's not good. Services like that are ruining, Netflix, Game Pass, anything is ruining the things we like to do. And people don't understand, physical media is becoming slightly more rare every single year. Always online. To have a game where you need internet, I'm not going to go buy a game. I've not ever played Destiny, and I don't want to. If the game was not, just last night I was looking at Wildlands and I found out that it's an optional. You don't need internet online. Now I'll probably go out and buy it at some point. I'm always looking for stuff like this. I grew up in a time where you didn't have to worry about microtransactions. I don't know why it took 5 years to begin with for microtransactions to be such a huge problem. Why did it take 5 years for people to be like, no, I'm done? The first time I saw that, I was like, what is this? This is garbage. It took until Star Wars, and I think that's a little bad. It's hypocritical. Free-to-play games. I don't like Fortnite. I understand. At that point I do understand, but depending on how you do the microtransactions too. You can make a bit of money, but if it forces you, if it feels like it's a forceful thing where you have to and it affects the gameplay, and I don't like it. So yeah, I don't know. Just the fact that the Xbox 360 really made someone hate console gaming kind of, it's sad. It's really sad. Yes, you got Steam, but then you're missing out. Yeah, you can pay for PlayStation Now, but then you're paying too much for a service that's not that great. to begin with. And again, you need internet. I prefer my physical copies over like when I buy movies and games. That's how it should be. Owning your game. I know now more and more they're trying to push you away from that, but that's why I like Sony. They really cater, and even Nintendo. They cater to the people who like physical copies. Less and less, less Sony, more Nintendo, which is why I'm looking forward to the Switch. But Microsoft is clearly thinking about going service-based. Even recently, they're talking about possibly going third-party, like what Sony did. But it's justified at this point. Like PS5 might have Game Pass, from what people are hearing, and at that point, you won't need an Xbox. I can just have a PlayStation 5. They might get desperate. They want people to cross-play, right? They want people to cross-play. So, ding, ding, ding. Well, I guess I don't need to make a console anymore. I'll make more money this way. I'll save up more money. The way they talk, they just don't care. They want people... Like my friend, he had an Xbox 360. He calls him up. He's like, just go buy an Xbox One. What company does that? Because his 360 was broken, and they're like, oh, no, just go get an Xbox One. No word of a lie. And then I call up Sony, even when my Vita, I think I called about my Vita, which is old at this point. Or I called about my PS3. They had no problem talking about it. I have had such a great community being, talking to people on the PlayStation, and, I don't care, random people. I'll play with random people, and then boom, I'll move on with my life. I don't care. I just think that, this is why, and I'm happy to have stuck with the PS3 and moving on to the PS4. I'm happy. And if it's any indication, yes, they don't have a lot of games, but that's a good thing. You have time to play the games that you buy. People always complain. I don't understand the beginning of the generation with Sony. People will complain that there's like no games when there are. There's third-party games and a few exclusives. And then if you wait long enough in that generation, holy cow, you have a lot of games by the end of the generation if you pick them up as they come out. Then no one complains, right? So... for me, I think it's the key thing of stop complaining. Hi Harley. Stop complaining. Enjoy games. I can understand the appeal with Fortnite. I can understand the appeal with a lot of games like that. But I will always love my single player games. And as I've told people, I don't care to even continue with gaming if gaming becomes this thing where it's always internet, microtransactions, and this. There's a lot of gamers who just don't want to deal with that, and I'm one of them. And buying, I take a hiatus from games, that do internet. That's the big no. When Destiny was announced for PlayStation, I remember being so excited. Hi, Harley. Hi. Go in there. I was so excited about it because it was a game Bungie was making for the PlayStation, which I always wanted to play Halo on the PlayStation. No, you go this way. You go this way. Thank you. And, their presentation, I was like, yeah, I could totally play this. And then next thing I know, they say, oh, yeah, and you need an internet. You need the internet. That's not good. That isn't good at all. Why do you think single-player games are now the number one priority that people have? People are, going online is so toxic that, like sometimes it'll be funny. Sometimes people will be funny on there. But aside from that, I don't care. I play just, I went back on some things like Call of Duty. I said I would never play Metal Gear Solid and never play Call of Duty. Well, I did, because a roommate of mine had bought it, and I played it, and I thought it was enjoyable. But enjoyable to a point where it's like, I don't really care. Then, and then Metal Gear Solid, wow, great player experience. That's because someone gave me a code for the first one, and I fell in love with that. Might do a review of Metal Gear Solid series at one point, because I'm a new fan. I am a new fan, and I'm just missing one more, and that's the 5th one with Ground Zeroes. Who cares? Who cares what I don't have, But the point is, I don't respect a company that will mess up so much, get forgiven, and just the amount of, just the way they do things. Sony and Nintendo, two Japanese companies, you could tell they care. You know, Japan Studios, who make Knack and a bunch of other, like Last Guardian. Great developers. Very underrated company. You know, Nice America, who they've actually tried to put games on the Xbox, but oddly enough, they get turned down. And then the fans will stab the Xbox fans don't want that stuff on their console. Like, you would want more games, I would think. And then they complain there's no games. Like, hypocrisy. I don't like the Xbox community. And this video might upset some people, and I don't care. I feel so at home on the PlayStation. It has been a long time since I've actually had a Nintendo. No? I feel at home with that. Super Nintendo, I love that. Even Sega. I had all the fun consoles growing up. Point is, Microsoft is going to become a third party, and that's where I think they should go. They should stay with the services, but they should not, in any way, shape, or form, make any more consoles after the Xbox One. Because they're just going to keep pushing their agenda. They haven't changed. You know, it was really ironic when I watched the E3 2017 and the best announcement was backwards compatibility. Not that great. Not that great. So that is all I'm going to say. I'm sorry this is a somewhat long video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope, you know, I can see some comments in the comments below. I would love to answer. I love answering. But man, I might get to play Halo on the PlayStation console in the future. Hey, I never thought that'd happen. Just saying. It's a sad, sad day. Now, I'm not hating you guys. Last but not least, I'm not hating you guys if you play Xbox. It's your money. You want to waste $500 like I waste $500 on my PlayStation? Go ahead. But at the end of the day, you gotta stop, you know, you guys, whoever, you know, is complaining about PlayStation, God of War, and Spider-Man, stop complaining. Just go buy yourself another console. End of story. Just stop. You bought your Xbox. You got cheated out of God of War. Well, God of War's always been, but Spider-Man, as you guys feel, I don't care. I really don't care. I may have to play it and stream it and have fun. I'm not losing out. Ratchet and Clank for the win. Woo! And Resistance and all that stuff. Point is, I'm happy where I am. I can't wait to get a Switch. Play Mario Odyssey. That looks like a game. I don't know. Anyways, thank you for watching. Subscribe, dislike this comment if you're new. And good topic. And remember, in a couple days, I'm streaming God of War. Woo! It's gonna be good. See you later. Friday. I'll see you guys Friday. Actually. Bye.